Welcome to the AI for Technical Writers podcast, where we help you get smarter than your competition. This is episode 115. I'm Fred, and with me today is Daphne. We're focusing today on, well, a massive global shift in AI infrastructure. People are calling it the fourth industrial revolution.
And that framing is really spot on, Fred. The sheer amount, the scale of capital spending right now, especially what we're seeing in Asia, it really feels like we're at the start of maybe a 10-year build-out, a whole new computing era.
Yeah, it's not just an upgrade, is it?
No, not at all. It's more like a complete rewiring of how global computation works.
And this topic actually came from a suggestion by our producer, senior technical writer, Curt Robbins. So our goal here is to unpack these huge announcements, particularly those big deals coming out of South Korea. We need to get a handle on concepts like AI factories and sovereign AI, because honestly, they are changing the game for technical professionals, for IT folks, documentation specialists, everyone in the tech space, really. Okay, so let's start at the beginning. The fundamentals. For, 60 years, the computer industry has operated on a pretty stable model, right? CPUs doing the heavy lifting.
Right. But AI and accelerated computing are now shaking up every single layer of that stack. It's a fundamental change. The core engine isn't the CPU anymore for this new wave. It's the GPU.
And what's pushing this change, it's not just faster chips, is it?
No, it's driven by this powerful economic engine, what some call the virtuous cycle. Basically, huge improvements in AI models make new applications and services profitable. And that profitability, it fuels more investment, which then lets companies build even better AI faster. It's a feedback loop that's causing this explosion in capital spending worldwide.
So you're saying this isn't just hype or speculation, it's actually grounded in, well, making money.
Exactly. When creating intelligence generating useful data, code, insights becomes profitable, companies invest. They build more factories to produce it, just like they build factories for chips or memory.
Okay, that makes sense. And this requires a different kind of company, doesn't it? Like NVIDIA.
Precisely. Look at NVIDIA. They shifted from being mainly a graphics chip company to a full-blown computing platform company, and software was key to that shift. This AI revolution forces you to think of the whole data center, servers, networking, everything as one giant computer. That needs distributed computing, complex software stacks. It's way beyond just designing a chip.
Which brings us neatly to these huge infrastructure projects. The scale in South Korea is just mind-boggling. At the APEC summit, Jensen Huang, who is the CEO of NVIDIA, he announced South Korea is diving headfirst into sovereign AI, backed by, get this, over 260,000 NVIDIA GPUs.
It's a staggering number, and it really shows a national commitment, doesn't it? They want to control their own AI destiny. And it's not just one company, it's this huge coalition. The Ministry of Science and ICT, or MSIT, plus giants like Samsung, SK Group, Hyundai, Naver Cloud, LG. It's truly a national effort to build an AI-driven economy.
Okay, let's break down where all those GPUs are actually going. It kind of reveals how this sovereign AI idea works in practice. So the government, through MSIT, their Science and Tech Ministry, is putting it up to 50,000 GPUs. That includes 13,000 of the latest Blackwell GPUs. And they're deploying these through local cloud providers like NHN Cloud, Kakao, Naver Cloud.
Right, so that forms the kind of national AI resource, the backbone.
But then you have the private sector.
And that's where the scale of these AI factories really hits you. Samsung, SK Group, Hyundai Motor Group, they are each building their own facilities with up to 50,000 GPUs each. And Naver, their big domestic cloud and search company, they're aiming for over 60,000. That's the industrial muscle.
So for our audience technical writers, IT pros, what are these massive AI factories actually doing? What are the applications?
They're building intelligence for both the digital and physical worlds. Take Samsung. They're using NVIDIA's specialized software like SUDE-X, Kulitho, which is for computational lithography, super relevant for tech docs there, plus models like Nemotron and the Omniverse platform. They're building incredibly detailed digital twins of their semiconductor plants, and they're pushing robotics forward using things like Isaac GR00T.
Wow, so if you're writing docs at Samsung, you might be documenting the virtual factory in Omniverse before the physical one is even built.
Exactly. You're documenting the digital twins parameters, its rules, and Hyundai is doing something similar. Their 50,000 Blackwell GPU factory is for training AI for autonomous driving, simulating manufacturing processes. They use Omniverse heavily to simulate factory layouts, logistics, test their D-Drive AGX Thor software virtually before it goes into a real car or controls a real robot.
And SK Telecom.
They're building an AI cloud specifically aimed at helping smaller manufacturers and startups build their own digital twins and robotics applications. So they're democratizing access a bit.
It's not all just commercial applications, though, right? There's research, too.
Definitely. The Korean government is pouring money into foundational AI research. They're developing advanced Korean language models using NVIDIA's NeMo software and Nemotron datasets. They're even tackling quantum computing research with KISTI, their National Science Institute, using the CLQ platform for hybrid quantum classical systems. It's incredibly ambitious stuff.
Okay, this is fascinating. Let's take a brief break for a special message from our producer, Curt Robbins.
Hi, this is Curt Robbins. First, thanks for listening. I truly appreciate your support. I want to let you know that I'm currently accepting new clients. My rates are affordable, and I have more than 25 years of experience working for enterprise companies like Microsoft, Northrop Grumman, Oracle, PNC Bank, FedEx, USAA, and Wells Fargo, among many others. If you want to improve your IT documentation and communications, hire me. I deliver fast, know how to use AI to improve efficiency and accuracy, and love going the extra mile to satisfy my clients. Thank you for subscribing and listening. Back to you, Daphne and Fred.
Welcome back to the AI for Technical Writers podcast. All right, before the break, we established this massive global build-out of AI infrastructure, using South Korea as a prime example. Now let's talk about the kind of computing this enables. You mentioned the future is shifting towards 100% generative.
Yes, and this is probably the biggest conceptual leap we all need to make. Think about traditional computing. It was mostly retrieval-based. You search Google, it retrieves links to existing documents. Generative AI is different. Systems like Perplexity or image generators. They don't retrieve. They generate the answer, the image, the code right there in real time. They synthesize it based on their training. Every pixel, every word is newly created.
And that generative capability opens the door for agentic AI. This feels really key for our listeners.
It is absolutely key. Think about tools like Excel or a CAD program. They're tools we use. Agentic AI is different. It's the first technology that can actually use tools itself. It acts like a digital worker.
So we're moving from giving people better tools to actually creating digital helpers that can do tasks.
Precisely. And we're seeing it already in the enterprise. NVIDIA says, 100% of their own engineers now use AI coding assistants like Cursor. That's not just finding information faster. It's having a partner that writes code, checks APIs, drafts documentation.
Okay, that's the digital side. How does this intelligence cross over into the physical world, into robotics?
It's basically the same underlying AI model, just given a physical body. That's the power of multimodality. But robotics needs a specific setup, 3 interconnected types of computing, really. First, the AI factory we talked about for training the big general model. Second, you need a virtual world computer like Omniverse for simulation and generating synthetic data to train the robot safely. And third, you need the computer inside the robot itself, its brain, for real-time decisions.
Right, the intelligence flows between training, simulation, and the actual robot.
Exactly.
So let's connect this back. If we have these agentic AIs, these digital workers,
Right.
What does that mean for IT departments, for tech writers?
Well, the role changes dramatically. The IT department of tomorrow might look more like the HR department for AIs.
HR for AIs, explain that.
Think about it. You'll be responsible for onboarding these digital employees. That means fine-tuning the AI models, setting up their knowledge base using things like retrieval augmented generation or RAG. You'll need to teach them company specifics, proprietary knowledge, even the company culture. And for technical writers, the quality, the structure, the clarity of your documentation becomes absolutely critical because that's the training material for your new digital colleagues.
That frames the opportunity differently. We're talking about agentic AI for digital tasks and physical AI for robotics, potentially addressing, $100 trillion of the global economy?
That's the scale people are talking about. These technologies can now automate or augment huge swaths of economic activity previously untouched by tech.
And that huge potential is why every nation wants a piece of the action, driving this sovereign AI push.
Exactly. No country wants to be entirely dependent on importing intelligence or sending all its data elsewhere. So you'll see this mix everywhere. Nations will import some AI, buy some specific models, but also invest heavily in building their own strategic AI capabilities.
Now, we can't ignore the geopolitical context here, especially the U.S.-China situation. NVIDIA's own planning seems to assume minimal China sales now.
That's what their guidance suggests, yeah. treating China essentially as zero, and anything they sell there is a bonus. But the underlying debate is complex. The argument from some in the U.S. tech sphere is that the goal shouldn't just be blocking China, but ensuring the world builds on the American tech stack, think Windows, or the Internet protocols. The idea is you want everyone, including developers in China, using your platform. A complete ban, the argument goes, might actually backfire by forcing competitors to develop their own independent rival ecosystems.
And the core of that American tech stack, bringing it back to the tech, it's not just the GPUs, it's the software.
Absolutely. The real secret sauce, the moat, is the decades of investment in software libraries. Things like CDA are foundational, and one library often mentioned as incredibly crucial is QDNN. It's the software engine that makes deep neural networks run efficiently on the hardware. It's that optimized software developed over years that provides the performance and, frankly, the lock-in.
So summing this all up, we're witnessing a profound shift away from retrieving stored information to generating information on demand, a move to 100% generative computation, and countries like South Korea are literally rewiring their national infrastructure for this new era of intelligence.
Right, and the really provocative thought for you, listening as a technical professional, is this. Your value proposition, your career trajectory, might increasingly depend on how skilled you become at onboarding these new AI agents. Understanding how to structure knowledge for them, how to fine-tune them using platforms like Omniverse for simulation, and leveraging those deep software libraries like QDNN, that's becoming the new essential skill set for managing your company's digital workforce.
Thank you for listening to the AI for Technical Writers podcast from Curt Robbins, where we help you get smarter than your competition. Remember to like, subscribe, comment, and share. We'll see you next time.